Hi everyone, welcome. Let's talk about a problem I've noticed with modern IEMs. And when I mean modern IEMs, I'm talking about these recent IEMs from 1 year ago down to the modern, the newest ones. And that's the fact that almost all the manufacturers that I've been following and the ones I've tested and the ones I'm seeing, the brand new ones, they're all just neutral. They're following a pattern now that's a bit of a problem. I like it when you try to be neutral, but it is a problem when it becomes now the new system for everybody, for every IEM to sound like. Neutral IEMs have existed in the past, but it was not a trend. It wasn't a pattern. It wasn't a thing that every manufacturer made as a focus on their IEMs. In fact, I would even say neutral IEMs were very exclusive. It was more or less an IEM, at least the tuning was for IEMs that were more or less targeted to studios, like people that mix and master music, or even people that need critical listening, something serious. These are people that need neutral IEMs, not necessarily audiophiles that need fun sounding earphones. Before 2020, earphones mostly were V-shaped. It was fine. When you listen to earphones, it was V-shaped and they sounded really, really nice because they had bass. They could do bass. They were not perfect bass, but they could do bass. I think what happened is that many manufacturers couldn't get bass tuning very well. Many of them couldn't do bass very well. The ones that tried doing the bass maybe either got or at least brought out earphones that distorted or had or were not able to play the low frequencies very well, and maybe they failed so many times, and there you have it. You have that situation whereby the companies gave up, or maybe they gave up that they just don't want to tune earphones with good low end. I don't like calling companies names. There are so many brands now that are releasing earphones, but if you check the latest ones that I've announced, or the ones that are on the channel, the ones I keep talking about, the major brands, you will see there is a pattern. It's a pattern. It's not a bad pattern, but it's a pattern that is not genuinely a good thing going forward, because if every earphone sounds neutral, if every earphone cannot produce low frequency, it's a problem. It's a problem because I'm not like other reviewers or other YouTubers that stick to one. YouTubers more or less stick to a pattern. What I mean by a pattern, they review their earphones with only music. It's a problem. When you only review earphones or headphones with only music, you will only be blinded by what you're hearing from consistent beats. Music is a sequence of the consistent beats and audio, basically, like the voicing of the artist. But if you want to get the full experience of an earphone, you need to game or watch a movie with it. I don't see reviewers. I think it's only one reviewer that I have followed on YouTube that actually reviews IEM or anything earphone with, at least he will say he tested it with movies and give his opinion on how he experienced playing games or watching a movie with that earphone. But most reviewers don't do that, and it's a problem. They don't do that, and I feel a bit angry when I see a reviewer that comes out and says, you know what, this is my opinion, this is the best that it can be, but they don't go out to do extensive tests. And that is a problem. They don't do extensive tests. They don't check if the driver can handle low frequency. They don't even do that. They only listen to music, because music is very deceiving. The reason I say music is very deceiving is that You will get an earphone, even an average $20 earphone sounds the modern ones. For instance, MoonDrop True. I don't know, they want to call it a brand name, but for instance, the MoonDrop True. If you buy the MoonDrop True and you play music with it, it will sound clean, clear. If you want to see the limitations of the MoonDrop True, put it through its paces, play a game with it, play a movie, and plug the earphone to a decent amp. Maybe get a Topping NX7, a BTR7, something that has a bit of power that can show what it can do. At least that can show what the earphone can do, not what the amp can do, but what the earphone can do. So plug it to a decent amp. Play your movie. Make sure you've watched that movie with a quality earphone that already can reproduce the frequencies of that film's audio properly. When you start watching that film, you will start seeing so many limitations with so many modern earphones. It is a problem because I've listened to so many of them and I'm quite annoyed because when I get my hands on them, I'm very bored immediately and I'm like, okay, this is another neutral earphone. That's another neutral earphone. That's another neutral earphone. Where's the bass? How do I get bass out of this? That's a problem. Very few companies now are trying their best to include low frequency effects with their earphone. Gone are the days when you could buy an earphone and it ran like low frequencies shake to your eardrums. It's no longer the case like that. An example of earphones that go down low and you can feel the bass and you don't need to spend so much of money to get that. The Blonde BL03. There is a reason why that earphone is still the most successful Chi-Fi IEM in history. The reason for that particular the reason for it to be so successful is because it can do bass much more than any other IEM on the market for that price, at least for the $40-$30 pricing. If you get the Blonde BL03, put it in your ears, put it through a decent amp, you would need things like bass boost. You wouldn't need things you won't need to add more to what you have already. You will hear in fact, it will look or sound like you have a subwoofer in your ears. Maybe even if it's one, you would feel like there is a subwoofer rumbling because it will have that effect. But the modern ones don't have that effect. The MoonDrop True don't rumble in your ears. They will sound clean. You will hear the audio well. You will hear the vocal well, but you will never hear the bass well. And that's a problem. And the older earphones that had that quality bass, it's not like their audio, like the mids and the highs were terrible. They were not terrible, but they were not the best. They were not the best. And I can see what companies are trying to do. They want to work on mids and treble, but they are neglecting the most important part of the frequency, which is the bass. And that's a huge problem. No matter how clean, no matter how detailed an earphone will ever sound like, it can never compensate for the fact that it needs quality bass to be able to be complete in its tuning. Now, let me give a bit of leeway to some reasons that the companies must have seen before they all maybe chose this neutral path. That maybe that. And another thing that comes to my head a bit is maybe the fact that maybe they can't have the entire frequencies playing at the best. Maybe if they wanted to give you bass, they had to sacrifice mids. Maybe if they wanted to give you bass with great mids, they wanted to sacrifice treble. Maybe they just don't want to sacrifice one of the top end frequency just to give you better bass. I think maybe that could be the case. But if that is the case, or if that is the main reason why they are sacrificing low frequency effects, then that's a problem for me. See guys, if you like this rants that I can do talking with you guys, put your comments down below. Say you like it. I'll make consistent videos about new releases, talk to you guys like this, discuss with you guys, see your opinion if you like the new release for the day, and let's see how it goes on from now on. Do subscribe to the channel, do like the content, follow us on social media. I'll see you guys very much tomorrow. Let's see how the day goes. And there are some new earphones that I've announced on the channel, so let's see how it goes. Take care, guys.